I've been married for a long time, more than 50 years. We have one daughter, 9 grandchildren. I love these women very, very much. One day, though, I may not be able to help them. And one of them may need a cancer screening. It's not a pleasant thought, but that's the reality of life. But I may not be around to help them when they need something. Over their lives, they'll be in need of other things, like a cholesterol check, maybe their blood pressure screening, tests that are less serious, but just important to a woman's health. They should be able to get the test that could save their lives. So should every single woman in America. I believe that, and frankly, that's not so controversial. It's not so controversial of a belief. Some women, of course, have doctors. Others, including many of the poorest among us, don't. So where do they go to get blood pressure, or cholesterol, or a cancer screening? Where do they go? Thankfully, there's a little-known part of a little-known law that saves many lives. It's called Title 10. It's part of a public health law. And it means that women and girls can go to their local health department or community clinic and get these tests. Mr. President, more than 5 million women use these centers for Title 10 coverage every year. 5 million. 5 million. One of them could be my granddaughter or my daughter. Mr. President, some watching us today, and we know the whole world's watching us today, may be asking why I'm talking about women's health, when the question before us is the budget of the biggest economy on the planet Earth. Some may ask why we're talking about the smallest corner of planet Earth. With the government shut down looming not weeks away or days away, but hours away, why are we talking about whether women can keep doing something as simple and non-controversial as a cancer screening? The answer is, Mr. President, that Republicans want to shut down our nation's government because they want to make it harder for women to get the health services they need. And by the way, Title 10 does not include abortion. It's illegal to use federal funds for abortion services. So anyone who says this debate is over abortion isn't being truthful. It's about simple and important health services. Republicans want to shut down the government because they think there's nothing more important than keeping women from getting cancer screenings. This is indefensible, and everyone should be outraged. Men and women should be outraged. The Republican House leadership have only a few hours left to look in the mirror, snap out of it, and realize how positively shameful it would be, Mr. President. For months, this conversation has been about billions and trillions of dollars. It's been about weighty issues and difficult decisions. This debate is about saving money. That's what we thought it was about. But no longer. We have an agreement on the cuts and savings. I was there in the White House last night. And that agreement includes a historic level of cuts. We've always recognized we had to make cuts. That's why we agreed in the White House last night to make significant cuts. Hard, but important. But now, the Tea Party, among others, but they're the biggest push, is trying to move its extreme social agenda, issues that have nothing to do with funding the government. They're willing, it appears, clearly, to throw women under the bus, even if it means they'll shut down the government, because that's where we are. That is the one issue that was remaining last night. That agenda is an extreme agenda. I don't agree with their ideas on social policy, but in our democracy, those ideas, however radical, or however you may disagree with them, deserve a debate if they want one. That's fair. But that debate doesn't belong in an urgent bill to keep the government running. And it especially doesn't belong here at this late hour. The consequences of letting our country's funding expire would be devastating. Almost 1 million federal employees, Mr. President, people who work for the Bureau of Land Management, not a big presence in the presiding officer's state, but a huge presence. The state of Nevada is 87% owned by the federal government. Forest Service employees, FBI employees, Internal Revenue Service employees, people who work in this great government complex. Almost 1 million of them are waiting on pins and needles. Federal employees are like everybody else. They're working from paycheck to paycheck. They're wondering if they're going to be able to get that new car they've needed for 3 or 4 years. They're wondering if they, with summer coming, are they going to be able to take that vacation that they've wanted to for a long time? That's what the federal employees are like everybody else. The consequences of letting our country's funding expire would be devastating. People, individuals, it would be devastating to our troops, to our small businesses, and to Americans' everyday lives. People who just want to get a home loan, to get their tax refund, or, I repeat, their paycheck, would damage our image and credibility around the world. Our Republicans are asking me to sacrifice my wife's health, my daughter's health, and my 9 granddaughters' health. They're asking me to sacrifice the health of women in Nevada and all across this country. But, Mr. President, I'm not going to be part of that. I won't do it. As a legislator, I'm very frustrated. As an American, I'm appalled. As a husband, a father, and a grandfather, I'm personally offended.